Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain the four phases of the cardiac cycle, how they match the pressure volume loop and why they matter so much during cardiovascular exercise. Think of the heart like a pump. It fills with blood, squeezes it out, relaxes, and then fills again. The pressure volume loop is simply a picture that shows how the pressure and the amount of blood inside the left ventricle change during one heartbeat. When the heart is relaxed, this is referred to as diastole. Phase 1 is ventricular filling. Notice that the mitral valve is open and the aortic valve is closed, and the blood flows into the left ventricle. On the pressure volume loop, this is the bottom line. The amount of blood increases, but the pressure stays low because the heart muscles relax. Now we are in phase 2, which is isovolumetric contraction. This is where the ventricle starts to squeeze. The mitral valve closes, and this is where we hear the first sound. Now both valves are closed, so no blood can move, but the amount of blood stays the same and there's a rise in pressure. Now as you see reflected on the pressure volume loop, this is the right side going straight up. Phase 3 is ventricular ejection. When the pressure inside the ventricle becomes higher than that of the pressure in the aortic valve opens. This is where the ejection occurs, where the blood is pumped out of the body. And we see this on the pressure volume loop. This is the top of the loop moving left. The amount of blood decreases because it's leaving the heart. Now we're entering phase 4, which is the isovolumetric relaxation phase. This is where the ventricle finishes pumping and begins to relax. The aortic valve closes and makes the second sound that we hear. With both valves closed again, the pressure falls quickly, but the amount of blood stays the same. This is reflected on the left side of the pressure volume loop. You notice that it's going downward. This is showing a decrease in pressure. And the ventricular pressure has to fall below that of the left atrial pressure. And this will allow the mitral valves to reopen and allow for ventricular filling to begin again. So how does exercise change everything? During exercise, your muscles need more oxygen. And to meet this demand, your heart has to pump more blood. To deliver that oxygen, the heart must increase cardiac output, which is the amount of blood pumped out each minute. Which brings us to the formula of cardiac output, which equals heart rate multiplied by the stroke volume. So when you exercise sends more blood back to the heart, so the ventricle fills with more blood, which is called increased preload. When this happens, exercise also makes the heart squeeze harder, which is called increased contractility. It is because of these changes that more blood is pumped out with each heartbeat. On the pressure volume loop, the loop would become wider, showing a larger stroke volume. Over time, regular cardiovascular activity makes the heart stronger and more efficient. It pumps more blood with each beat, while also lowering your resting heart rate.